Who do you think will win something first, Spurs or Man United?
That's a good question.
It is a good question. I'm not sure the answer.
Or does it matter? Or does it matter about winning?
Well, put it this way. Man United will spend more money, so you would say for that alone they'd have a better chance. But if they were both spending the same sort of money from now, if we're starting with a clean piece of paper, both had the same budget to spend, I'd say this guy.
I think it all depends. Two things have to happen because we've got two important factors for this football club to progress.
I know what you're going to say.
But it's just honest. If Harry Kane doesn't sign and Antonio Conte decides there might be another option to go back to Juventus or whatever, what kind of mess are you going to be in then? Then you are scrambling. If they can get other players in and around it, give Conte the ability to build a team here, I would have to say probably Spurs right now. You look at Manchester United today with that result at Aston Villa. I think we've got to be very careful that we criticise someone like Antonio Conte too much because he's an incredible manager. He's done brilliant things everywhere he's been, and this might be the first time that he can have a sustained period. Harry Kane absolutely loves working with him. He thinks he's been a breath of fresh air. He's come in, changed the mentality of the club, but they've got to start winning big games because there's always going to be that narrative that Spurs don't win big games.
I hope he stays as well for 3 or 4 years. And one thing I would say is about sort of maybe him going back to Juventus, that I think that's more unlikely nowadays. I think the managers that are at the top clubs in England, the vast difference, I think, where the English football is at this moment in time with the money at its disposal, the fact that the crowds are better. You know, you look at what's happening in Italian and Spanish football, there are great stresses over there at this moment in time. So I think Antonio Conte here, with this stadium, with this support, he's in a great place. I hope they do keep with him for 3 or 4 years. But there is a style demand at Tottenham. There is a style demand here. There always has been.
I think there's a trophy. I know what you said. I played here, and obviously my dad managed. There's a trophy demand now. I genuinely think
like
style. They do.
Like
They've always
play?
Because they played that in the '61, the push and run team. We always talk about that, but I think it's a trophy they want now, and that's why they've gone with Conte.
I think he'll get them a trophy. I do think. Coming back to your question before, I don't know that before United. I do think he'll get them a trophy. He's the type of manager that he won't leave until he gets them a trophy. He's that type. I think he wants success. He will deliver success.
I don't think Juventus is an attraction for him right now, where they are. You know. The biggest and the best players want to play in the Premier League.
Graeme, you've been in this position as a Premier League manager. The longer you wait to sign that contract, the more chips you have, surely, at that poker table when you're talking about the prospect of new signings.
As long as you're doing well, you know, you can make more demands if you're winning games. You know, he would have no problem. He would have no problem finding a job after this. I think he likes English football. I think he likes the pressure of English football.
This is a great
club.
He's a great addition to the Premier League.
Spurs are a great football club. Spurs are a great football club, but they've been. You know, the recent history has not been good. It's not been good enough.
I think the point you make, though, Dave, is actually I think he's the only manager that I've seen going to Chelsea under Abramovich, and I felt like he almost had the measure of the club. You know, the club usually just spit managers out at Chelsea when they don't want them. He almost did that league first year. Then he win the FA Cup in the second season, but he was almost playing the game with the club, knowing that ultimately he would leave as if he was the winner. He's the only one that's left Chelsea, I felt, whereby it felt like it was on his terms. He's smart, he's intelligent. Daniel Levy will have to make sure that he keeps him happy, because if he feels like he's going to be exposed and he's going to be challenging for top 4, he'll just jump. And to be fair, he'll turn on the club a little bit before that, and you'll start to see the PR. That's not happening at this moment in time.
If you don't keep him, where do you go from there?
But I think the question also now, Jim, is where does Antonio Conte? He will definitely get another club, but this club at this moment, with this stadium, which other club could he go to in Europe that's as exciting as this stadium with this amount of money in this league? You know, Juventus are a great club, unbelievable club, but at this moment, Italian football is struggling a little bit.
Who do you think? Do you think Antonio Conte needs Tottenham, or Tottenham need Antonio Conte?
At this moment, I think they probably both need each other, because Levy needs Champions League football, he needs top 4, he needs to make sure his money's not wasted, and Conte needs a great club that gets him the exposure and the success that he wants. I think at this moment they're probably perfect for each other.
It's a bad day today for Spurs, but let's be clear, it could be really exciting.
Well, they came back so well in the end of last season. I mean, you think with the fitness and the work that he does, that might come to fruition. It's going to be
one year in charge. They were a long way from the top 4 when he came into the club. He's got them into the Champions League. They're through to the last 16 for just the 5th time in their history, and as of now, they are 4th in the Premier League. Beaten today by Liverpool.